Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday afternoon and our breast sleep. I can't even speak. It's only the first minute. That is not a good sign. Our breast sleeping Q&A for the second one for the month. And I am here. I am Shari Criso, and I'm here with Rebecca Michi. And so happy to be back with all of you. We're going to let everybody jump on. And I hope everybody remembered this is a different day than they're used to. So we first changed the time of day. Now we change the day. We just want to keep it interesting and see if you're all paying attention, right?
Just keep everyone on their toes. That's the plan.
Definitely keeping me on my toes, that's for sure. Hopefully everybody else remembered. And hopefully you all got a notification. Yes, I see them jumping on. So they must have gotten a notification. I love that. I hope you guys are loving the notifications. Some people are like, why do you keep sending me this? But others are like, this is great because I forget. And I know for me, I love getting reminders when I want to do something and then I go, oh, shoot, I missed that. So that is the point of our reminders, and hopefully you're all getting them. Hi, everyone. Oh, it's so happy. It's so wonderful to see all of their names pop up and also their faces. I can also see your little images here from Facebook. So, yeah, did everyone have a wonderful Mother's Day? I hope you all did. You know, to me, that is the best holiday of the year. It seems like to me, it's like just, beyond religious holidays, this is the one day where I feel like we are celebrating, I think, the most important thing, which is mothering. And of course, I feel that way. I think you all do too. But there's just nothing more sacred to me and more special and than moms, whether you're a mother yourself or you're expecting and you're going to be a mom, which you already are if you're expecting, or you're planning a baby in the future, nothing more important than celebrating all the moms out there. So I'd love to hear from you. Did you have a great Mother's Day? And was this your first Mother's Day? Let's see that. Okay. Why don't you tell us if it was your first Mother's Day? That's a special one, huh, Rebecca?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, it is. Yes.
It is. It's such a special one, such a special one. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. For those of you who don't know me, we have a lot of new people. Our Facebook group has just grown to almost 1,000 members just in the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, there's just so many people flooding in and also here to the page. So if you're new and you might know me a little, but you really don't know my background, I just wanted to give you a little, I didn't do this last time. I'm going to give you a little background. So I'm Shari Criso, and I have been taking care of moms and babies for over 25 years in just about every capacity. I am a registered nurse, and I was a labor and delivery nurse. I'm a certified nurse midwife, delivered over 600 babies in my practice, and I'm an international board certified lactation consultant, and I am now a teacher here on the internet where I get to reach all of you all over the world. And it is the best thing out of everything I've done to be able to know that we're making a difference for moms and all of you guys everywhere, and I can connect with you. It's just been the best thing ever. So I have online classes and you guys can all check them out, and you can join my private group, My Baby Experts community, where we can connect even more. And we have a lot of really fun things coming up. So make sure that you're joining. Sitting to the left of me,
Maybe.
it's always backwards, so I have no idea, is one of my dearest friends, Rebecca Michi. She is the children's sleep consultant, and I love having Rebecca with us. So Rebecca, welcome, and please introduce yourself to everyone.
Thanks, Shari. My name is Rebecca Michi. I am a children's sleep consultant and author. I'm based in Seattle, though I work with families actually all over the planet, thanks to the internet. So I have my Sleep Academy, which is my private membership site, and I also work privately with families. I'm a gentle, no cry sleep consultant, so I'm not advising families to leave their children to cry it out, and we work together to get some better sleep. If we need to do sleep training, it's much more hands-on, gentle techniques that we use, but we don't actually necessarily need to do any of that scary stuff to get some better sleep. There's a lot that we can do to get some better sleep without doing any sleep training at all. I have two daughters. Isabel is 14 and Layla is 13. And so we had a wonderful Mother's Day. And you know, when your kids get to this age, You are definitely up before the kids on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Oh yeah. This does change.
It really does.
Complete reversal.
Yes. So my husband and I had a lovely breakfast outside in the garden. It was
Oh,
wonderful.
that's nice. That's
Oh.
nice. Yeah, we had a great Mother's Day too. I obviously I didn't say, but I am also a mom of two daughters, 16 and almost 14. My youngest will be 14 next week. And Rebecca and I are in the same phase in life here with our children, which is that teenage phase. It's very different. It's very, very different. We won't talk about that tonight. We'll just talk about your babies.
But we do need a support group.
We need if anybody knows a good Facebook group for Rebecca and I to join and learn, I will take recommendations for sure. For sure. Maybe by the time my children are grown, I'll be a teenage expert too. You and I can talk about that, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. And how you can get your teenager up in the morning.
It's always like that when you're going through that stage, and everyone I talk to always says to me, Shari, you were a labor and delivery nurse, you were a midwife, you worked with babies. It must have been so easy for you when you had your kids, at least you knew what you were doing. And I always tell them, no, that's actually the reason that I started doing what I do now, because although I had all that knowledge and education working with babies, I was a midwife. Once they delivered, I didn't know what to do with them. And I remember coming home with Joe, and our daughter was 2 days old, coming home from the hospital. And he looked at me and said, don't you know what to do? And I'm like, not really. I've really not done anything with a baby that's she's 3 days old. What am I supposed to do with this baby? And between sleeping and breastfeeding, I mean, you'd be shocked. You think that we would know that, and I didn't. And it's really what inspired me to focus my attention now beyond the pregnancy and the birth to postpartum, and really to focus on what we go through once we come home with that little one. And it's really, as a midwife before who didn't have any kids, I always thought birth was the end. Because they come, they're pregnant, they give, yay, we're done, we delivered, and really it was only after having children that I really quite grasped the whole concept of, birth is the beginning, and everything really starts from there. It's like, that's when we start. And so, that really did inspire me to help support all of you, because I struggled myself. I really struggled. So we're all in this.
Yeah, I totally struggled as well with a degree in child development. I thought when I was pregnant, I was convinced this is just going to be so easy, and I'm going to be the best mom actually on the planet. Yeah. And then when Isabel was born, I was just like a deer in the headlights. I was like, what the heck happened? This is what I was expecting in any way, shape, or form. And it shocked me actually how crazy. And I'm not afraid to say that I really, really disliked the first 12 weeks immensely. It was incredibly tough for me, really, really was. And it was not what I was expecting. And I really did wonder what on earth I'd done.
Yeah. But there's no going back, is there? Only going forward.
Yeah.
The kind of thing that nobody can really explain to you until you're in it. And having seen a lot of moms go through the whole process, and thinking that I was supporting and knowing what they were going through, it was not something that I could really fully understand on that, cellular soul level, until I was actually a mom myself and said, wow, this is really hard. And so for any of you guys who are expecting, or you've just had your baby, or you're even in that first year, it's hard for that whole first year, just remember that things do get a lot easier. And this is the hardest part. It's one of the hardest, I think the hardest physical part of mothering. It does get hard when they're 16. Trust me. That's hard. It's hard in a whole other way. But that physical, the physical hardness, the lack of sleep, breastfeeding, everything that you go through, recovering from the birth. So I guess my best advice is just to get support the way you are. And if you're watching this right now, you're already doing that. Work with other, connect with other moms who are going through the same thing, and really find your teachers. And I feel so honored that you're joining us, because obviously we can help you and hopefully in many, many ways. So Welcome, everyone. And so I just want to also acknowledge that we have two amazing partners, sponsors today who make all of this possible. And so big shouts out to Love to Dream, who is one of our favorites, which I'm going to show you the products in a minute, but Love to Dream, and also Rachel's Remedy. And so we have a sleep product and we also have a breastfeeding product. How appropriate for this conversation, right? So I wanted to just say thank you to them for being amazing partners. We have prizes for you, and the way to win the prizes, as always, if you are a regular viewer of ours, you know how to do that, but you want to comment here, tell me what you love about the Love to Dream products, if you've used them, if you haven't, but you've heard some things, just comment here, tell me what you love, and also Rachel's Remedy, and make sure you love this post. And are we ready, Joe? Ready, got the thumbs up. Okay, so if you want to get all the information today, any links that we're talking about, plus a way to enter to win the contest and get information about the products, you just type the word win. And I have something really cool here for you. What do you call it? Be Live keeps changing their technology, and I can't help myself. So here we go. Ready? Ooh. Type the word win now. Did you like that?
That was very nice.
Okay, so just type the word win, like literally right here in the chat, just type win, okay? And when you type win, you will get an instant message from me, a Facebook message that will send you all the information so you can check it all out later. You don't have to write anything down, you don't have to worry about it. And if for whatever reason that is not working for you, after we're done with the chat, there will be a link right here in the post that you could click on that and go right to it, okay? So don't panic. Sometimes Facebook's a little funny with these comments here. They don't always work. It's okay. But just go ahead and type win. All right. And then you will be able to enter. Did you like that, Rebecca?
That was very impressive.
Isn't that impressive? Very impressive. Okay. One more thing I would like to say too is that today during the show, as we did last time, which we love so much, is if anybody wants to join us for the chat. Okay, what I mean by join us, not just here in the chat room, but if you'd like to literally turn on your camera and jump in with Rebecca and I, ask your question live. Just like last time, we will be offering a special prize to the first person who jumps in. Okay, Rebecca, tell them what that prize will be.
It's going to be a 3-month membership to the Michi Sleep Academy.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay, now anybody who wants to do that, okay, here we go, ready? You just type this, okay? Here you go, bit.ly. I got a little overboard. I couldn't help myself. Okay, this is the link. This too is in the post that you can go ahead. Joe's going to post it here. You need to just download the Be Live app and go to this link, and it will take you to our live stream. You'll literally be sitting here in the room with Rebecca and I will bring you in so you can ask your question live and win a 3-month membership to Rebecca's Sleep Academy, okay? All right, awesome. So let's start with, how about we start with a question, then we'll come back to talk about some of the prizes. And let's see, what were some of the questions that came in? I'm gonna ask Rebecca a question. This came from Conchita. Conchita has been following me for a long time. She actually was live with us a couple weeks ago, I believe, right here into the chat room. She had a sleeping question. She said, any advice on how to transition my son, who's almost 11 months old, from bed sharing to his own crib to his own room? Mm-hmm. He used to sleep in his playpen, but when we moved, we started bed sharing because he didn't want to stay in his playpen anymore. We just set up his crib in his own room, and I need to get help. I can need all the help I can get. He still wakes up to breastfeed 2 to 3 times per night.
Okay, great. Well, one, I cannot believe that her little one is 11 months old. Can you? Do you remember we were doing these and she was asking, and he was a newborn?
Yes, I do remember. Yes, this is how fast time is flying, Rebecca.
Crazy. Okay, so this is actually a really, really great question, and it's actually a really common issue that people have, whether it was that their child was in the crib in their room, they were bed sharing, or whatever, moved, things change, and we need to make some changes. And there's no right or wrong time to make the changes. It's whenever you feel that you need to do that. but it's all in the preparation when it comes to making changes with venue of sleep. So I would start now, but you may not make the changes straight away. It may be something that actually happens in a few weeks or even a few months. If you are doing this now, maybe your child is in your room, in their crib or their bed sharing with you, and everything's fine, you can still start making these preparations now, because oftentimes when it comes to bed sharing, it's not a gradual, oh, I think we're getting ready to stop. It's a, I really need to stop this because I'm done with being kicked in the head and somebody prying open my eyelids as I wake up in the morning. And a lot of times people are just done. They really are done. So if you've already put all that time and energy into the preparation, then it makes it so much easier to do. So what I suggest that you do is, one, you have playtime where you want your child to sleep. So that is having playtime and awake time in the room, but also in their beds, whether that's a crib or a toddler bed, twin bed, whatever. But they need to know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like. They've got to be really, really comfortable with that. So that's going to come with just maybe starting small. It really does depend on your child. Start small and increase that time. So do this every single day. You can do it sort of once or twice a day. But the more time that they spend in the room, then the quicker that they're going to be able to sleep in the room. So lots of time there. Look at the environment of the room. We need the room to be dark. Humans sleep better in a dark sleep space. So make sure that you get some blackout. Really important as we're heading into summer. It starts getting light really early and it stays light really late, especially where I am in Seattle. I mean, it was gone 9 o'clock and it was still late last night.
Yeah.
And then even before 5, it's light, it's fully light at 5 a.m. So you want to have blackout, because then when you're in a dark, dim environment, we produce melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that induces sleep. We want this. It's free. It's easy.
That's a good point, for sure.
So definitely having the blackout. Look as well at the room needs to be cool, especially again when we're heading into summer. And so actually between like 65 and 70 is perfect. But don't worry. If you're living somewhere where that's a little bit unrealistic because of if you live somewhere where it's really hot and your AC is on and trying to get it down to 65, it's going to cost you $1 million. Don't do that. But just trying to keep the room and the space as cool as possible. So keeping curtains closed, things like that can be really, really helpful. Looking at what your child is sleeping on. If they've been bed sharing with you, I guarantee that your mattress is going to be a lot softer than a crib mattress. And so trying to sort of see, maybe your crib mattress has a toddler side, so making that as comfortable as possible. And so getting all of these things ready. Then when you're ready to make that change, you can start with maybe naps. You could start with the beginning of the night. If your child has been used to sleeping right next to you, I really do suggest that you make up a bed and sleep in their room for the first few nights, because we've completely changed the venue that they're sleeping. Now, if they're suddenly sleeping somewhere completely alone, they wake up, they could they could freak out. So if they wake and you're there, that's going to then help with that transition. And then after 3 or 4 nights, then you can have them in their space alone. So it's not it's not like let's get you in there tonight. It's all with that preparation, but it's just sort of going at that slow, steady pace. Then when you need to make the change, it's much easier to do.
Yeah, and we talked about this for quite a while on our last breast sleeping Q&A, Rebecca. You mentioned, the whole idea of doing this in a transition, like doing this slowly, making this, it's not an event, weaning them from the breast or weaning them from your room is not an event that happens in a day. It is a slow process, both of those things. And so we make that transition easier for them as we slowly wean away from it. Not, it's traumatic to do it just too quick, and you're just not going to get the results. You're going to make it hard on everyone. And I love what you were just saying too, this whole point of, they're comfortable, like your bed's pretty comfortable, and I'm thinking of Conchita and her baby sleeping in a pack and play, or playpen. Those mattresses are not meant for them to sleep every night. They're not comfortable. And think about yourself. If you suddenly were being moved to somewhere where you're not familiar, where it's not comfortable, obviously mom's not there, it's not warm and cozy, all of it. There's a lot of different reasons, but make the whole environment pleasurable. Pleasurable, familiar, easy and slowly transitioning and safe. And I think that's what babies are looking for, children are looking for more than anything, is to feel like they're safe. They're okay, even when you're not near them. And, we don't really consider the fact that, young babies don't really have that memory of like, you're coming back. And so that idea of, all of a sudden you're not in their view, you're not with them. It's terrifying for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just trying to aggravate you and keep you awake. They really do need something. And so responding to those needs overall, I believe that will be the thing that helps you to have a more confident child, to have a more independent child. The thought is that if you answer to every need they have, that somehow they'll be more dependent and they're going to be unable to be on their own, and they're unable to live without you, and they're unable to do anything without you being present. That's kind of the opposite of what we've seen in the research, is that it actually builds confidence. And you can understand why, right? If as a young baby and child, you knew that you felt safe.
Yeah.
That, that person that you rely on for your life, which is your mother, your father, will always be right there for you. It builds confidence to explore the rest of the world.
And that's what we want for our kids. Even when they're teenagers, we want them to know that we're there for them, regardless of, how they screw up. We're always going to be there. We're always going to be there for them. And that starts with, really, really young. We're always going to be there for our children. We're always going to help them when they need the help. Sometimes they don't need the help and they just need to do their thing. But a lot of the time they need help. Let's help them when they need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see Love to Dream here in the chat, and I'm just so happy to see their faces and know that they're all here. I want to send out a big special happy birthday to Elizabeth too, from Love to Dream.
Yay!
I know.
Happy birthday, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth was recently here at my home. She was in New Jersey. She came to visit me, and we got to spend the day together. It was so fun. So happy birthday, Elizabeth. And let's look at the prize for today for Love to Dream. Okay, so look at that. I even got fancy with emojis. Isn't that nice? Okay, so Love to Dream, if you haven't seen this amazing sleep tool, okay, that's what I'm going to call it. It's a sleep tool. It's a sleep sack that actually has it's called a Swaddle Up. Okay, and the reason it's Swaddle Up is pretty self-explanatory. My baby's sleeping here, okay, because baby swaddle up. Okay, the Swaddle Up means that I don't know where to stand. Okay, Swaddle Up means that this is a sleep sack where the arms are actually in an upward position, okay? And that's really important because this is a much more natural position for your baby's hands to be. And when they're in the womb, that's where their hands are. This is how they're able to self-soothe, how they're able to bring their hands to their mouth, to be able to suck on their hands or move their hands there and stroke their cheeks. All these actions will help your baby to self-soothe, and that actually helps them to sleep a little bit longer as well. So they sleep better, they sleep longer, they learn how to soothe themselves. And that's with it's a sack that they zip right into this, okay? It's really nice because it helps them to stay swaddled all night versus a traditional swaddle where they can keep unwrapping out of it. Babies do like that feeling of that tightness and that swaddle. And this one does have that nice tightness through the abdomen so they can feel it. And also, although their hands are up, their hands are not flinging all over the place. And what happens with a baby is they have something called a Moro reflex. It's a startle reflex. And you'll notice that gets stimulated when you start to put your baby down. And this is the reason why babies sleep so well. You're holding them and then you go to lay them down and they startle and they wake themselves up. They can't help it. It's a reflex. This helps to suppress that reflex so that they don't keep waking themselves. And it's kind of annoying for the baby. This helps them to also not have too many. Rebecca just talked about the idea that the room should be nice and cool. That helps everyone sleep when the rooms are a little cooler, when babies are not overheated. It's also overheating a baby is also a risk for SIDS. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that babies are not overheated. And I think it's a really important topic to discuss now as we're moving into the summer months, that maybe you can't keep maybe you can't get your room to be as cold as Rebecca just talked about. But that's even more important of a reason to think about what is the baby wearing and paying attention to that. Somehow, especially, I'll see a lot of new moms or grandmas, overdoing it with the layers of clothing on a baby, hats on the baby, and multiple layers. And it's really important to make sure that you're not doing that. Keep the baby cool. Feel their chest and their back to see if they're hot. Just checking their hands. Babies, especially new babies, their hands and feet are always cool. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to test it, bathe that. You want to really put your hand on their chest, see if they're hot, if they're starting to sweat. All those things are signs that your baby is too warm. And what I love about Love to Dream is that you're, unlike a swaddle, you're not wrapping multiple layers around your baby. And some of these blankets are just so huge. Yeah. It is, by the time you're done, you've got 5 layers on that baby. And you've also got a safety risk because they can get out of it and it can get wrapped around them or get over their head. So Love to Dream, not only does it make it easier and help moms and babies both sleep better, but it's also for safety. So 2 great things, okay? They come in 2 different styles. One is the swaddle up, which is the original, okay? And that's just for babies up to about 3-4 months old. And as they start to roll over, they have what's called a 50-50, okay? Again, if any of you guys have used these before, I want to hear from you right now in the chat. Tell me how it's helped, because the Love to Dream fans are just the best fans. They love it because it works and it helps so much. And so they love it. So this is a 50-50, and what it is the wings actually zip off. So you can slowly transition them as they're starting to roll over. You can unzip one side, let them get used to having one side out, then unzip the other side, and what you're left with after that is a sleep sack with their arms out, so then they can use their hands in there and bring their hands to their mouth. So those are the swaddle ups and the 50-50s from Love to Dream. I actually had a video here to show you that somehow, let me see if I can still get it up. Hold on a second. Somehow it disappeared. There it is. Let's see. Can you see that? No.
No. Oh, something's happening.
Can you see that now?
Well, I can see that we've changed. Oh, yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to show you this video because this shows this is a perfect example of the difference between trying to use a regular swaddle and how many layers we're talking about, and just the simplicity of putting babies into a Love to Dream where there's just one zipper from the top and bottom, so you can change diapers as well. Here's the there we go. Got it. What happened? I thought I was doing okay here. Hold on. Did it stop? All right. It started over. We're not going to do that. Okay. You got the point.
Yes, we get it.
And somebody said, becoming more tech savvy, huh? Yeah. I see that, Tabitha. Yeah, I thought I was.
And then it all went, as soon as you
don't get cocky about it.
It all went wrong.
All right, hold on. Let's get this off the screen. All right. So You saw the point here of, thanks, Tabitha. I couldn't help but pull that up. You saw the point. That was and that person was having a difficult time with the regular swaddle.
Yeah, it's like swaddling a bag of snakes.
Yeah, well, because did you see what happened? The hands kept wanting to go up. Okay. Yeah. And so their hands keep coming up, and you've got these little Houdinis who just want to get out of it. And they don't really want to get out. They want to feel the tightness. They just keep wanting to bring their hands to their face. It's their instinct to do that. And so that's why, starting from a place where it really works with their natural instincts and their desires will always make it easier for them. Totally. All right. So that's Love to Dream. We have how many prizes today, Joe? Two winners. Okay. So if you want to win, just type the word win here and love, and tell me what you love about the Love to Dream. And we're going to pick two winners. You get to choose the 50/50 or the regular original. And they do come in different weights too, because we were just talking about heat. In the summer, they do have their summer light, and it's super, super thin. It's so nice, and if you are in a really warm climate, literally, if you get down to the point where it's like too warm, you could just put a diaper on and put that on, and you don't really need anything else with it. So you can really adjust the number of layers that you're creating. Let's get some hearts going across the screen for Love to Dream and my attempt at technology. Let's get some big hearts. Okay, I want to see hearts going across the screen for all of our comments and our questions and our answers today too. We love to see hearts. I can see it. When you're putting the hearts across, I can see the hearts, and I'm telling you, it definitely helps Rebecca and I to keep on talking. We're talking a lot, right? So hearts, I know you're there. It lets me know you're all there. Let's do a breastfeeding question. Does that work for you, Rebecca? I'll keep on talking here. All right, let me find. I'm actually going to talk about, let's see. We have a breastfeeding question that came in from Sherilyn. Okay, Sherilyn posted, we just had our 3-month-old lip tie laser. Okay, that means the baby had a lip tie and she had it laser revised. We had him checked by 3 different people for a tongue tie, and he doesn't have one, thank goodness. Quite unusual. I just want to say that, to have a lip tie and not have a tongue tie, a little unusual. You're saying you got to check by 3 people. Gonna go with that, but very uncommon not to have both. It may not be as obvious. So just watch that as you're going forward. He had it done at a pediatric dentist. Everything has been going great so far. His latch was fantastic right after we got it done, but now it's better than before, but it still needs some improvement. We do all the stretches every hour and a half to 2 hours, including at night, but I think it's just because he's in pain. What suggestions do you have to help him relearn a good latch? I'm also in the process of trying to take care of my thrush, which has had since 3 weeks old. So multiple issues. Poor mama. Okay. Just, we honor you for continuing on, and we know that you're going to get there. Okay. You just got to keep going with what you're doing. A couple of things I can address here. One is, the fact that you're doing the stretches, that's true. And the babies they do feel pain from these procedures, so it's not it's not something to avoid doing if you need it. And typically they're able to nurse right after the procedure, but it is still an incision. It's still going to hurt. It's in their mouth. And so just keep that in mind as you're going through the next few weeks of the recovery. I know people who actually prescribe some homeopathic pain relief, which I would look into. I'm not going to go over what that is right here on our live chat, but look into that. And if your baby's going to be having any kind of revision, consider that while they're recovering. It will help they have to relearn how to use their tongue. And you're doing these stretches. And so when they're in pain, it can make all of it just a little bit harder. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing too is that it's not just, and I'm working with somebody right now, we talked about this I think a couple weeks ago, who just had their baby's tongue revised, and she's doing great. Agnes is out there. I know she'll be happy that I'm thinking of her right now. But there was more to it than just having the laser done or the revision done. Having some body work, such as craniosacral therapy on the baby, working with a chiropractor, there's more to it than just that tissue that's attached. So, the tongue is attached to all the musculature in the neck and in the back. And so if the baby has any kind of tightness in those areas, I'm not going to go into detail, but those kind of tightness can also restrict the tongue movement. Plus, the baby needs to learn how to suck again. They've always sucked a certain way. Now their tongue is able to move. There's more that you may need to do to help that process along. Sometimes, and I know that some lactation consultants, some dentists or pediatric dentists that do this recommend having that body work done even before having the revision done. So just something to consider, having that first before you ever even attempt the revision. All right. So again, I think Kate's in the room here. Kate, just like last time, please go ahead and post the tongue tie episodes that we've done. This topic comes up often. I am not the end expert on this subject. I have learned a lot about it, but I don't do the revisions myself, and I do work with specialists in this field. They've all been interviewed on my shows. Dr. Scott Siegel was on with us, and then we had an entire panel in the fall. If you're part of my Facebook group, you will have access to all of that. So make sure that you're joining the group, and then Kate will put up there. I see her there. She says she'll do it. Kate will put up the episodes so you can refer back to them, but quite interesting, Okay, so I want to see some hearts going across. Again, we need some hearts today. I know it's only Tuesday, but it feels like, I don't know if it was just the weekend with Mother's Day and everything else, but I want to make sure that everybody knows what the other prize is before I get to another question for you, Rebecca, because our other sponsor today is Rachel's Remedy. And I don't know if you guys have seen, somebody just posted that they don't know what it is, but they love it. They love to have it. I was laughing. I'm like, you know what? That's trust. Yeah. That's what I can say. Is that trust? Everybody knows that if I'm promoting something or if I'm recommending something, here's what you can expect from me and also from Rebecca. I know this about Rebecca. If we are working with a company, if we are giving away a prize, if we are saying, hey, here's something that we love, we really love it. Okay, I'll tell you right now, I will not work with anyone unless that product has some value that's going to make your life easier, better, healthier in some way. Okay, so you can trust that from me, that if I'm putting it up here, it's because I really believe in it. All right, so this is Rachel's Remedy. Okay, and what this is, it's a relief pack. Okay, so it's a natural, hot, cold, moist heat relief pack, and that means that the piece that is inside of this, there's a flaxseed pillow inside of here, okay? This gets heated up inside your microwave, or it can be frozen, but mainly we're looking at moist heat. So you're gonna heat it up in the microwave, and then it slips inside this little waterproof pack. And see this is what makes this so different. This little fabric, okay, you wet that under the sink, and you put that on top of here. Now, you can slip these inside your bra, which I'm going to do right now. Okay. You can slip them right inside your bra. Why not? Right. And then you have moist heat up against the breast. And why is this important? Moist heat helps with engorgement. It helps with plugged ducts. It helps to prevent and treat mastitis. It helps to increase milk supply and maintain your milk supply. And everybody always asks me, how does that work? Why would this help your milk supply? Moist heat penetrates the skin differently than dry heat. And so it helps with circulation, and it also helps to get your milk to let down. And when you do that prior to a feeding, or you do that prior to pumping, you're going to get more milk that's in the breast already out. And when you get more milk out, you'll make more milk. And so it helps to maintain your healthy milk supply. And so moist heat is great anytime, but especially if you have plugged ducts, mastitis, engorgement. I recommend having these like as a staple product. Like when you're thinking of, what are some of the most basic things that I need for breastfeeding? And you don't need a lot. the bras, the pump, some pads, those kind of things. But Rachel's Remedy definitely would be one of them, because it's not just for people who are having issues. It's really anybody who's nursing or pumping can benefit from moist heat. So someone's going to win the Rachel's Remedy relief packs, okay, a set of those. And then there's also a set of their new silver pads. So they're not silver, they're white, but they're actually organic Sherpa and very, very comfortable washable breast pads that have silver in the lining here. And silver is an antibacterial, so it helps to prevent infection, keep the nipple clean so that if you have any cracking, you're not having bacteria enter. So I love this. The only one on the market that does that. Absolutely love 2 of my staple products. So again, want to win, please comment here, tell me what you love, and make sure that you are I'm so corny. Typing the at least I know it. Typing,
yeah, I don't want to say anything.
I'm so corny. Typing the word win in the comments here to make sure that you get all the links for today, including the link for Rebecca's Sleep Academy, which you do not want to miss out on, okay? Anybody going to jump in and join us for a question and ask their question live? Right? All right. We want to know.
Great.
Joe, is the link for the comments? Is it in the
It's in the copy. I posted multiple times.
Okay, good. It's in the copy of the post. So if you want to join, you just have to click on that link, and I will see your face pop up here, and I will pull you into the stream. And the first one to do that, if anybody wants to do that today, is going to win 3 months of Rebecca's Sleep Academy. Right?
Yep.
Let's let Rebecca answer a question since she spent the time to come here. I've been talking for a very long time. Rebecca, ready?
Yep.
Okay. This came from Cassandra. Cassandra said she's 6-month-old, exclusively breastfed, takes great naps, but at bedtime won't go to sleep without a fight and will only last about maybe 2 hours. Wants to nurse all night. They co-sleep, but she's trying to transition her because she feels like it's causing the issue. How do I get her to sleep for longer periods at night? 6.5 months.
Okay. So I talked earlier about the bed sharing and wanting to move away from that. So I suggest that she just, if she's or missed that, to go back and look at that because it's all in that preparation. So daytime sleep and nighttime sleep are managed by 2 separate areas of the brain, which is why they can be so very different. So which is why we can have great naps, but not some kind of crazy night. So that's the reason why. It's nothing that she's doing wrong. It's nothing, it's nothing like that. It is really, really normal. That all changes at around 8 or 9 months, but it doesn't mean that there's nothing that she can do right now. There most certainly is. First thing that I would get started doing is really working on those daytimes, even though you say she's getting good naps, which is great. I'm really glad to hear that. Really work on tweaking your daytimes. And what I suggest that you do would be to actually go to my website, childrensleepconsultant.com, and then just go into the free courses and workbooks. I have a free course there called 10 Days to Better Naps. Now, even though the naps are not necessarily the issue here, working on the naps, working on our daytimes is going to help the nighttime. It just is. And that can be, we do as much as half nighttime wake-ups by just working on our daytime. So that's kind of worth doing because it's super easy. And it's quite a quick sort of work that we can do to get these better naps and nighttime sleep. Whenever I work with families, I always suggest, and we always spend at least 1 week working on these daytime routines and working naptime routine and nighttime routine first before we get started with anything else. So the fighting going down to sleep is really not unheard of. A lot of children do this. I mean, right through to sort of toddlerhood, a lot of children will fight going down to sleep. Now, a lot of the time, especially with a 6.5-month-old, it is due to one of 2 things. One of them is being overtired, which is more likely the case. Another one is being undertired. Now, both of those, the child will react the exact same way. So It can be a little bit tricky to tell. Are they overtired? Are they undertired? 9 times out of 10, they are actually overtired. So a 6.5-month-old may only be able to be awake for 2 hours before going down for the night. And so you want to look at the timing then. If they've had longer, it could be then that they're just overtired and they're just really, really fighting. Because when children this age get overtired, they don't do what we do. When we get really, really tired, we just physically slow down, both physically and mentally. Children do the exact opposite, and they get even more worked up and will really, really fight, go into sleep. You may notice it with a toddler who, oh, look, you're getting tired, you're getting really sleepy, let's get ready for bed. And then suddenly they're bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
And that's when they've got overtired. So I think with the fighting, it's due to being overtired. So even bringing your bedtime routine, starting that even 10, 15 minutes earlier can really, really help. Yeah. Making sure that that nighttime routine is really relaxing. The nighttime routine for a 6.5-month-old should be between 30 and 45 minutes long. Consistent, same thing, same place, same order, whenever you're at home. That's going to really, really help. The predictability is relaxing, but also then that the brain knows that sleep is coming. It's doing what it needs to do to actually fall asleep, which means that sleep is going to come easier. It needs to be done into that dark, dim environment that we talked about earlier. But you need to see what you're doing, obviously. So if you've got blackouts, that's perfect. Make sure that you don't have any energy-saving light bulbs in the sleep space. So if you've got that blackout, great. That means that we've blocked out all the natural light. You're just going to turn on an energy-saving light bulb that is the same spectrum as sunlight. That is going to inhibit the production of melatonin. So get an incandescent bulb in there so that the melatonin is being produced. Because then if the melatonin is being produced whilst you're going through your routine, then when you're working on getting them down to sleep, it is at a little higher level and they should have a bit of an easier time. So I would really work on all of those things. Look at the environment, look at your daytime routines. Getting really nice and relaxed before the nighttime is really, really going to help with the beginning of the night, but also with through the night. And all of that is covered in that 10 Days to Better Naps course that I have on my website. It's free, so it's super easy to get.
Yeah. Taking advantage of your courses, especially the free ones, are so important. I was just looking at someone else asking the question about breastfeeding too, and is there anything that she needs to do to prepare her nipples or prepare her body for breastfeeding? And I thought to myself, prepare yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing you can do beforehand more than get the knowledge and the information. And I have a free course too, and it's actually one of my best ones, which is Simply Breastfeeding, and it's absolutely available to everyone. It's free, and it's, join the private group, and you'll also have links. Joe can put a link here to the membership site so you can join and watch Simply Breastfeeding. But really having that information, starting off right will really get you off on the right start. I can't tell you how many moms I talk to where they're like, the basic things that are in my course, as far as like how to latch, how to position that head, how much does a baby eat, and knowing that you're eating enough, are really all the reasons why they're not succeeding with breastfeeding. And it's so sad to me, because it's really, there's been nothing wrong. It's just that they didn't know. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that that's available to them. And I do have people watching from all over the world now, and it makes me so happy to know that that's making a difference. I do have a question that came in, or actually it was a comment that someone posted in my private group about using some of my videos, some of my pumping videos, and how she's getting so much more milk out. She actually took a screenshot and showed us the screenshot of her pumping app, I guess it was, that tracked how much milk, and she was pumping, 5 ounces or something compared to the 2 ounces that she had been able to pump in the past. And I've heard this over and over again from moms who are learning how to use their pump properly with my techniques. And there's multiple things that go into getting your milk out with your pump, mainly having the right pump, having flanges that fit, that's so important, but then also knowing how to use your controls, because, pumping is not just this simple, put it on, turn it all the way up, and your milk's going to come out. All right. Our bodies just don't work like that. And, I did post that in the group, the link to, or actually the video on how you get more milk with my technique. So if you want to go ahead and watch that, but I'm going to show you. And I see that Krista just jumped in. She's sitting here waiting. Krista, I see you. Don't go anywhere. We're going to pull you in. So we do have somebody who's going to join us and win Rebecca's Sleep Academy. So yay, okay. But as I'm finishing this thought about the breast pump, I want to show you here. This is the Evenflo pump, and I'm going to be with Evenflo this weekend, and I'm going to be with Rebecca this weekend, and also Love to Dream at the New York Baby Show. We're all going to be together, and Rebecca and I will be speaking, and I'll be speaking with Jamie at the Evenflo booth. But just real quickly, when we look at a breast pump, you want to make sure that you're looking for one that has independent speed and suction controls on the pump. And that way you can use my method, which is to stimulate multiple letdowns of milk. You're using your controls to stimulate or simulate what the baby would do when the baby's sucking at the breast, and how they get those multiple letdowns so that the milk's flowing, it slows down. How do you get it to start up again and start up again? And moms can have anywhere from 2 to 8 letdowns in one sitting. Yeah, and that's what you do actually when you're nursing your baby. You just can't see it, right? So the baby knows exactly what to do, obviously instinctual. They're sucking, they get that first letdown, they cause oxytocin to release, and the milk starts to flow. And then the milk just sort of flows out. It's just doing it on its own at that point. The suction has something to do with it in the baby's mouth, and same with the pump, but the milk is flowing. At one point when it slows, how do you get that second one? Right? And that's what I can teach you in that video, is how to, keep your controls in a way where you're increasing speed, but not decreasing suction. And I've had moms who are like, this is incredible. Like I didn't know that this is how it works or how my body works. And I just followed directions, and yep, milk started up again. And all of a sudden it started to flow. And here was all this extra milk that I was leaving on the table, so to speak. I wasn't getting out. And we know because of supply and demand that if we're not draining the breast properly, we're going to start making less and less. And extremely important for moms who are returning to work, where you have limited time to pump. And, your pumping is going to be the critical factor in maintaining your supply and leaving enough for your baby each day. So really, really important. And I'm glad one simple tip can make a difference like that. So you guys can all go watch that video again in the private group. I just posted it. It's also here on my Facebook page. If you go through my videos, you'll find it. It's also on YouTube. I have it on YouTube as well.
They always send it to
Joe's posting a link so you guys can all watch it. I'm not going to go through the details. I want to bring Krista into the chat here. All right, so Krista's going to come ask us a question. I don't know what her question is, if it's for you or for me, but we'll find out. Here we go.
Hi.
Hey, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good, I'm so glad you made it in with us. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you guys too.
Thank you.
My question's actually for Rebecca this time. I've got this sweet little 8-month-old.
Oh, look at
And
that.
I was wondering, is 8 months like too early to start like doing like getting rid of some night feedings?
You can try, but you may not be successful. But it's worth trying.
That's an honest answer. That's a very
Yeah, it's worth trying. And it may be that you can actually, what I prefer to do rather than drop feeds is to space the time out a little more between the feeds. That way we kind of drop feeds. But I think that that's easier to do. So rather than say, let's just drop the 2 a.m. feed, let's actually see if we can space out the feeds, maybe another 30 minutes between the feeds, or even an hour longer between the feeds. That way we are dropping feeds, but they get pushed into the morning time. So that's the way that I prefer to do it. And it doesn't mean as well that you would actually try spacing out the time between all of the feeds. You may just do it between one. And so you would need to know when your child is feeding during the night. You'd also need to know when they're feeding during the day. So keeping a diary can be really, really helpful. And then you can sort of look at, well, actually, I think that after they fed, it was only an hour since they last fed and they've woken up again. You can then try helping them back down to sleep without the feed. You may end up that you do need to feed. You may get to that point where actually you do need to feed. But you can try not feeding at one of those wake ups during the night, and try sort of aim for anything before 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is always really, really tricky. We don't get into a deep sleep after 4 a.m. It's going to be much harder.
We usually end up bed sharing it for you.
Yeah. Completely normal. Lots of people do, because we don't get into a deep sleep, and so we need much more help. And then that's the same for you. You don't get into a deep sleep, so that means then that you're in that much lighter sleep, you're just then, it's much harder for you to get back to sleep, and it's just all around miserable for everybody.
Yeah, we've been doing sleep training. So I have her on a schedule during the day.
Great.
It's just like at nighttime. And the reason why I'm asking is because I'm starting to notice, like, she'll wake up crying, and we're trying to learn how to self-soothe. It's not going the best. She's stubborn, but and so the biggest thing is, like, but as soon as I put her to the boob, she's just falling right to sleep. And she'll, like, keep sucking, and then eventually get milk, and she'll drink it. But I mean, honestly, like, as soon as she just gets that comfort, she just goes back to sleep. So that's why I was wondering if it would be okay to maybe drop one of them.
Yeah, you can certainly try. How many times on average is she feeding a night?
I don't know.
She's not keeping track. She
I would probably say 3 to 4.
Okay.
I would say 3 to 4 a night.
I think you can reduce that down. I think you can definitely reduce that down, definitely. Normally,
sorry about the dogs.
It's normally between we can get between 1 and 2 at this age. It's pretty. But it's for some children do not need to feed during the night at that age, and for some children need more feeds at that age. But sort of the average is between 1 and 2 at that age. I think you could probably get down to that. But now that you're a member of the Sleep Academy, then we have step-by-step instructions for gently sleep training, but we also have different bundles. One of those is dropping night feeds. Another one is dealing with wake-ups that are happening out of habit, so happening around the same time. We've basically you've got everything covered there with all those nighttime issues.
Yeah.
You know, it sometimes it's really just about just knowing that this time won't last, Krista.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a non-answer, but it's a real answer.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it other than, this first year, it's exhausting. And we were talking about that earlier, and each child is different. And you might have, an older child who didn't do this, and you're like, what's wrong? Why are they doing this? Why are they waking up? Truth is, that's how my children were too. One just would call for me during the night till she was like 2.5. It was just what she did, Now she's off every weekend with her friends and not calling for me right now.
I know our 4-year-old has his own bed in our room too. So yeah.
I think also too, like you mentioned that, she's not really hungry. She's waking up to eat, but she's really just wanting to suck.
Yeah.
And it's like that they're used to, it's that comfort. And I find that if you're doing a lot during the day, you've got a 4-year-old, so you may not, what you might also be doing is spending a lot of time doing other things during the day, and just like more structured feedings where the stretches are longer during the day. The baby's going to need to get a certain amount of milk within a 24-hour period. Okay. So if you find yourself on the move and not really taking the time to sit with her and just let her have that time at the breast during the day, you'll most likely make up for that at night.
That makes a lot of sense too, because like the question I asked you guys on the last live is that she's a very distracted feeder. So if we're out, she won't eat, like she won't lay down. Right. And so I've always that's what I tell other people is like, she just gets all her feeding at night.
Yeah. It's the truth. They have to make up for it at some point. And they actually do. So like if they're not eating a lot or sucking at the breast frequently during the day, they're going to make up for it at night. Actually, you need it to maintain your supply too. So all that suckling is going to make a difference. Also, as it gets warmer, keep it in mind and make sure you keep offering the breast. One of the things that I recently posted on my page was about water supplementation and breastfed babies. And, obviously we do not supplement any water to a breastfed baby. Your breast milk is about 88% water, and it's all the fluid and liquid that she needs to have to stay hydrated. So you're not giving her extra water, and especially babies younger than 6 months, which yours a little bit older, but you're not giving extra water. So this is where they're getting their water from and their hydration.
Well, I'm doing baby led weaning, and they said that it was okay to like just give them like not that they drink all 4 ounces, but a little bit of water with the food.
Sips, yeah, at around after 6 months, you can do some sips.
Okay.
We're not talking about a lot of
okay.
Water to like get used to drinking a little bit of water is fine, especially with the food. It helps the food to go down. There's a whole other
still nurses after she eats anyways.
Right. I mean, there's a whole other reason after 6 months, but let's just say this for everyone else who's watching, because I had a lot of people who are like, wow, I didn't know this and I'm giving my baby water. It's not just a negative thing towards your breast milk. It's actually dangerous. And so I want to make sure that everybody's really clear, especially babies from birth to 6 months. No water at all. We're going into the heat, into the summer. That baby needs to be kept being put back to the breast, and your body actually adapts to that heat, knowing to make more watery milk to hydrate the baby. Water to a breastfed baby can cause, and even to a formula-fed baby, like too much water can cause water intoxication, which is water poisoning. Okay, it can cause seizures. It can cause low potassium level, all kinds of things that we just don't want to do. And it's actually a really old advice. So you'll have like grandmothers and aunts and other people who remember a time when
my dad.
Yeah, like when there was a time where there was like recommendation to feed babies water, and so I just want to make that really clear so that you're not nobody's doing that. And
that does mean that you need to drink more water.
Yes.
Yes. Especially in Southwest Florida where it's like 95 degrees right now.
You need to stay hydrated. Make sure you're staying hydrated, and then keep offering the breast to your baby now, more often during the day when you can think about it. Be a little more aware.
Mm-hmm.
You just made her all happy.
She's like, I love this lady. More groovy. I'll take it. So more offering during the day so that we stay hydrated. And 2, if that's what the baby's needing, hopefully that's going to help your question as well for like the nighttime routine.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
to see you. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
So sweet.
Perfect. No, it's such an important point, to let people know about the whole water issue. And so there's 2 opposite things I'm going to say. One is no water to the baby, more water to you. Make sure you're hydrated. That's how the baby gets their water.
Mm-hmm.
And like Rebecca said, make sure you're drinking, and make sure that your baby's at the breast as frequently as possible. Don't let anything interfere with that. I think that's really important, especially as we're busy in the summer. We're out more parties, more visiting, more all of it, right? Than in the winter months sometimes. And that could cause you to delay those feedings, not do that on demand as much. And if you have a little one that gets really distracted, then they may not go to the breast. So you got to find like a nice quiet place, maybe a cool place too. Sometimes the heat, it's just too hot to be up against each other's bodies like that.
That's tough, isn't it? When you're just it's so hot, because then your child is more likely to be like, oh my God, this is so hot. And you are as well.
Exactly. And then everybody, then the feedings aren't happening. They're not getting enough fluid. Your milk supply will suffer for all that. So, mainly your breastfeeding is your priority. Whether you're with your baby and other people are around, or you're out, or you're home, or if you're back to work and you're pumping, your breast milk and your supply and your baby's needs have to be the number 1 priority while you're breastfeeding. So, there you go. Rebecca, I'm so excited. I'm going to get to see you in just a few days. Yeah. Yay. What time is our talk on Saturday? Just in case.
12:45.
12:45. Okay, so at 12:45, if you're going to be at the New York Baby Show, either Saturday or Sunday this weekend, and you want to come meet Rebecca and I and watch our live breastfeed sleeping Q&A at the show, it's going to be at 12:45 Eastern, obviously. Maybe we'll jump on live for a moment beforehand.
Yeah, definitely.
We can even stream it if we want to. We'll have to talk about that, figure out what we can do. Maybe we'll stream it for anybody who's not at the show.
That's a good idea.
Right? What do you guys think about that? Let's get some hearts. Anybody coming to the show? Love to know that too. We want to see you. I love seeing them at the shows. I mean, I don't do that many shows a year. I do the baby shows. So that's what, New York, Chicago, and LA. Yeah. And we need to find a way to get into the middle of the country a little bit more too.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
It's not enough cities. It's not enough cities. Anyway, thank you guys for being with us today. Thank you, Rebecca, for joining me as always.
You're welcome.
And thank you to Love to Dream, and also to Rachel's Remedy, and for your amazing prizes and for your amazing support always, and making such great products for moms. Make sure you're liking and loving the post, comment here, and come join the private groups I can see over there. All right. Everybody have a wonderful week. We'll see you this weekend.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Bye.
See you later.